Hello, internet, wherever you are, welcome back. It's underscore Gintu, back again to the real pinpointment of understanding, outcoming, and also breaking the news that has been catastrophifying and this kind of the area of we are into this kind of the YouTube platform. Here we are, it's one-on-one. Welcome back. Sit, look for a special way. Sit, relax, because today gonna be today, as tomorrow gonna be another day. And today gonna be covering much of the sports and much of the things that are evolving and upcoming and much of the people have not yet understood. We might talk about, we are looking at a cry of a day. Maybe it's crocodile's tears that are coming out at that effervescence of the manner. Because when it comes to titillating the mind of somebody or berating somebody's mind, you can come to the conclusion that there are two philosophies that are learning unto their own minds or talk about their own minds or their own brains, because when the hypothalamus and the cerebrums and the common obrangata are joined to have one common ship, so they can just shipment this kind of the things to a certain luggage area and to talk about we're going to be setting our staffs to this kind of a harbor. We have to understand this kind of the conjunctioning tools. They have to work together as they're going to be coming out with a result which is constant and no probability is just needed there. This is the start of this kind of the video. Is going to be talking about Gintu's kick and going to coming out also, as you can just nullify and understand what has been pinpointed coming out each and every segment that will always come out evolving and equisomely coming out with an awesome metaphors of the day and also the metaphors of the do's that they always have to ongoing so as people can understand and come out with a conclusion. Yesterday I saw much of the videos and much of the people are talking about Gintu. Can you give us a one-on-one only so they can just understand what's really popping out in Nyabohansi? Because each and every kind of the time we are talking about attacking and jailing and talk about divorcements. What's really popping out? Telenovela, shagara bagara. Everything is just coming in, which is one-on-one. So you can just tackle much of the matters and uphold them where necessary. Don't take it as a granted or take it to the bank, because this is the beginning. One point, going back to the street and also handling this kind of the matter. Yesterday, I saw one of the ladies called Neema. Neema, I come with a short synopsis about her. And I'll go back to the pinpointment of understanding where they are going to be talk about fixing this kind of the prefixes of this kind of the matter between talk about Neema and also Mapopo. What's really coming out? Is it the matter that he has gone to a team that he was just away from? Or what's really popping out is this kind of the lady having a problem? Just get to this kind of the conclusive in a video and get to know what is to be segmented at this kind of the position. Back to the street, back to it. And also, let's get onto this kind of the philosophy, how it goes. A simple structure of a woman is whereby a person who can listen and also can understand what the husband is talking about. And much of the times we have the crocodile tears coming from the ladies. Why? It's because they can be trusted muchly. Talk about the rules in America. Most of the people will come out and equisomely talking about it's the reality. The first thing is a child, a woman, a dog, then a man. So it means that whatever a cry a woman can portray out, a man is always in for it. And as far as they will come to conclude you are not the one who is guilty about it, you have already eaten some days in remands. You have already popped out, you have been pinpointed, you have been milked very meticulously where necessary at the remand. And they will just make sure that they have subjected you where necessary. And there's nothing you can even communicate if they know this is the wrangles of the family that have occurred. And also you have taken the responsibility of becoming energetic enough to mishandle this kind of the person because they have the first priority. But in Africa, yes, we're going to be having that, but we have to see it in a corrective manner. What's really popping out? Once upon a time, not even so much, several weeks ago when I started this kind of the videos with the Jigas family, I got an invitation with this kind of the lady Neema. And she called and then we'll talk about, oh, who is this kind of the person? Yeah, I am Neema, the wife of Mapopo. You know me, Gintu. I know you, I watch you daily. I want a shout out. That's what this kind of the lady was talking about. The first day I met with her, and she talked about, hey, Gintu, can I get a shout out? I have a channel. I asked, oh, you have a channel? No, I don't know. And has Mapopo allowed you to have such kind of a channel? She said, oh, nowadays ladies can do whatever they need to do. I talked about, hey, how is it probably that way? And why are you talking that way? She talked about, no, everybody want to do his and doing mine because I'm left ABCD at home and nothing's just happening. I'm not given anything, no attention or whatever. I talked about, no, I have to consult with Mapopo before I give you the shout out. Because if it goes that way, much of the people will come to me again, talk about, oh, Gintu, you understand what has popped out between this kind of the lady Neema with Madiba. Talk about Chris Madiba. They're talking about Chris Madiba is dating. And maybe there's no dating is there. It's only like they are this kind of the lady has gone to look for a pasture green, talking about which is gonna be called the greener pasture from that kind of the area. Talk about he gonna introduce to the other team. Talk about which can Mapopo not introduce her to. And the only thing that she told me is Mapopo has denied to give her a shout out to open her channel. I talked about, but have you considered understanding like what are you doing as a woman? And what Mapopo can say, you have to do it as that kind of the concession without much of the talk about pulling each kind of the sides. She said about, I've tried my best, but he has not replied. He doesn't even need such kind of the things, but has he allowed you to start that kind of the YouTube channel? So sometimes we might go direct to the point and pinpoint much of the things, talking about, Mapopo gonna be bad, this kind of the lady gonna be right, or Mapopo gonna be right, this lady is wrong. And that kind of the preserve of the time, we have to understand this kind of the etiquette of understanding the family wrangles and the family matters, how they been held. You can talk about Gintu, you might be talking about Mapopo is bad, or this kind of the name is bad. You don't know tomorrow. You might be the stupid and the foolish person balking at the frontier door, the backwardness, talking about, you are the one who was making it to come out, yet there's nothing has happened. Coming to the same script of how she was beaten and she was thrown into an imbroglio with some of the children out, and she was told vacate and vanish with an immediate effect. What I can say is every mind that you have been triggered onto, you have to absolutely come to the conclusive manner of understanding like what is the first point, one-on-one point I want to be doing, so I can just expose myself and much of the people should understand, am I in my marriage? What is really happening to this kind of the clairvoyance of the matters? And which is bringing this kind of the chaos. Already, this kind of the lady, without even taking much of her own absolute mind talking, settle down a bit and talk about what am I going to do. She has already rushed and talked about her being beaten, so the platform can come out and openly, so they can just be the crocodile tears. And much of the people just talk about, oh, no, this is bad, we're going to be making this. This is taking people's burdens and you put them onto your own hands. And also from that kind of the capilog, this kind of the people going to be talking about, I'm going to be taking this kind of the lady so they can just sponsor, going to be buying you this kind of the land or doing whatever is necessary. At the end of the moment, we'll come to realize this kind of the people have slept in the same bed, because there's nothing you can do from the whenever they talk about they're going to be coming together. There's nothing you can do. And you'll be the one who is talking about, oh, I wish I knew. Better you knew it right now, so you cannot mishandle yourself and talk about, oh, I'm going to be doing ABCD. Number 2. This kind of the lady was ever running from each sections. Talk about from Priest Kasagati, from Monasto, and this kind of the people giving shoutouts because they knew who was Mapopo and they knew what was coming out from each and every kind of time. And giving her a shout out was to see this kind of the ladies, empower this kind of the lady to get up and also become who she gonna be, or talk about there's nobody who cannot make it in this kind of the life. Yes, we have such kind of the things, but use the correct talk about the correct channel so as you can just reach the brim. Like the husband doesn't need you to do this, because this kind of a way of flirting, you understand much of the YouTube, like the gentleman, whenever if you are married and you are making such kind of the content outside here, much of the people will come out and talk about, oh, today you are getting this kind of the content from this kind of the lady, oh, I have to look at you in the third eye, I want to do this, I want to do this. At that point, this kind of the man feels like, what am I now? I'm looking for this is like a job. YouTube is a job, and I'm going for the offices. That's the office if I'm going to have a video. But this kind of the ladies are coming out to talk about, no, now I'm gonna be looking at you in the third eye because you're gonna be dating maybe this kind of the lady. Why are you having the content with this kind of the person? They don't absolutely understand what the content is and what the YouTube platform gonna be portraying at this kind of the time. And they might come out giving you, whenever you come at night, find much of the things, because Mapopo also has given out much of the reservoirs, talking about, okay, he cannot handle himself on this kind of the portrait camera and talk about what's going to be coming out, because you understand the party he is, so he cannot be talked about, oh man, can you vanish from this kind of the side with an immediate effect. You understand what's going to be popping out. And that is the team that I'm going to be talking about at this kind of the time. Every time we talk about the epidemi of this kind of the matters always comes from the straight point of this kind of the other side. Like, you understand when we go direct to the point. And yes, and if we want to clearly come to the real conservo of this kind of the matter, ask Neema if she had reported this kind of the gentleman that he beats her properly like a Cherokee drum. Ask if there is any court or any kind of an obi that has been written. Ask for it. If it's not there, just put yourself aside, because there's nothing going to be happening there. Those are just the postcoms and the intercoms of the day. Because you might conjunctionize yourself inside, not understanding what's really going to be popping out, and you find yourself at a suspense. Like, oh, what am I going to do at this kind of the time? What am I going to do to this kind of the particular moment? You will be lost completely, because there's nothing you can ever come out to excavate or illuminate and come out with. And direct to the point, I'm going to be now attacking or getting this kind of the boy called Mapopo also. You understand we have some of the slogans that are always flowing, and much of the people should understand them. Like, yes, Mapopo is a man. He is married. He is a part of the program. And I don't know if it's cucumberization or whatever is not necessary. Because I understand when this kind of the YouTube platform came, you started checking much of the boys talking about, I have money, I have money, I have money. Why? And this kind of the YouTube platform has brought much of the money, much of the flattings, much of everything, much of whatever you need, and do whatever is necessary. Coming to the point. Yes, Mapopo, we cannot talk about is just a person who can talk about is a straightforward person. No. He's a cornering person also, which is this kind of the ladies complaining about the house that they are building. A bit is becoming like a guest house, because Mapopo doesn't want to carry her to that kind of the house, because there's an operation of cucumberization is performed at that kind of the house. And much of the ladies have suffered the private parts in that kind of the house. What do I mean at this kind of the 5% of the time? When this kind of the young ladies who want to venture into the YouTube platform, they want to talk about, I want to become a YouTuber, or I want to look for a person who is genuine. Whenever they talk about, let me go to Gintu, they talk about, no, Gintu doesn't go hand in hand with the other party. They talk about, who am I going to handle this kind of the area, and how am I going to do it? Whenever you talk about, hey, Mapopo, I want a shout out, no problem. As far as the nyash is nyashing, as far as the breasts are breakists, and everything is just fantastic, they talk about, yeah, you just come, welcome to my home. And welcoming you to the home are getting a shout out, is a shout out of down first, then a shout out of one-on-one of the face. And that is the rule. Number one, that is governing much of the people outside here. In a way that if you start segmenting and understanding which kind of the beautiful lady who has ever sat in the motorbike of Mapopo and who is making this kind of the things has ever suffered the private parts, they are suffering the most. So this kind of the things will come out more effective. Because you are told, oh, you understand, see this kind of the building here, it's one of the biggest building that are coming out with the YouTube. And I trust in God, and I say God is always the best. He has made me to have this kind of the platform and this kind of the house that I'm building here. This is YouTube mama. This is YouTube mama. And if you want this kind of the things here, open the server. That is the only thing. And if you adhere to the principles, and the principles should govern you more perpendicularly to that kind of the system, you'll come to understand like this kind of the ladies flat or get in touch and talk about whichever rounds you want, whichever talk about any kind of the talk about the style you want, whether it's gonna be a dog, whatever, whether it will be a donkey, whatever it will be a goat, it doesn't matter, whether it be a crocodile, whether it will be a wheelbarrow, sparrow, wherever it will be a cat, not to use the other first name, or whatever it will be, whether tortoise and whatever. That's the style. And I talk about this is the style gonna be. And I like you. The flirting goes there. And this is where now the mess started coming from. Because the lady is complaining about, oh, this kind of the gentleman is taking much of the ladies to that kind of the house and not taking her personally as Neema to that kind of the house or to get much of the shoutouts or get much of the other things. And not going further to this kind of the restatement. We understand also much of the things, including there's a day here that I told them that, okay, there's no problem, Mapopo, you just do whatever you want to do at this kind of the time because you are the man and I will not be there for your kind of the family to go around. And there's another thing that was coming out that we absolutely talk about we handled at the back because I was having much of the contempliments that were governing or conjunctioning me at my side, and I talked about, okay, let this kind of the side a bit relax so as I can just deal with this kind of the vulnerable first. And I come to the conclusion, talking about this kind of the thing is one of the ladies whom you ever knew. Again, she was ABCD with the school, ABCD with whatever. We tried our best to make sure that everything is possible. Right now, they're still, I don't know if they're at home still. And this kind of the lady we ever talked about ABCD. And up to right now, we came to discover like this kind of the people they are meeting in Nairobi. And much of the people, if you could just need much of the stories to come out. I have most and the most and the most. The only thing is, whenever we excavate and bring this kind of the stories out, much of the people start hating Gintu, talking about, oh, Gintu, it could be this way, it could be this way. I have so many stories to tell, and including how the meetings are, including the hotel bookings, and including very many things that are conjunction. This is Mapopo I'm talking about. Because whenever you hear like, oh, Mapopo is in Nairobi, my friend, think twice before you think about what is he there for. And you have to come to the conclusion of this kind of the time and understand what I'm talking about here. And coming to the real, it wanted to bring much of the confusion between the project manager and this kind of the Mapopo because of this kind of the things of interconjunctions of talking about, oh, you know, I'll come to Nairobi, and whenever you think about what are going to be popping out, you find this kind of the people are already flirting. They're just whatever. And they're being seconded with the brothers who are behind the scene. So they could just get much of talk about the miamara, which is the money. And they will just pop out and talk about, yeah, you just do whatever is necessary. Because much of the ladies who are into this kind of the moment, including whenever you see this kind of the ladies popping from this channel to the other channel to the other channel to the other channel, think twice before you think about how it's going to be coming, because these are the ladies I'm talking about. Because whenever they talk about, yeah, I have seen Mapopo has constructed, you think about Mapopo is constructing that house, do you think about you are the one who is constructing it? Whenever you talk about Gintu is constructing a G castle, do you think about you are the one who is constructing that G castle? Whenever you are told like, oh, I will help you to have a G castle. Hey, I will help you to have this kind of the thing. Do you think about that is the effervescence of the matter that already you will come to be the same thing that Gintu is talking about? I want to use the necessary object you have. Also, as I use the local material you're going to be having to sustain my sustainabilities, then we handle other pogroms out. Like you are given a shout of that day and you are promised much of the things. You are turned round of the house talking about, yeah, this way. At the end of the time, you start talking about, yeah, you know, I want to meet with you and this and this. You understand the men, and I'm not talking about this only for Mapopo. It's much of the men outside here in the YouTube platform, including you understand what happened to Madiba and ABCD. Much of the men are in this kind of the pro triangle I'm gonna be talking about here, in a way that the men, whenever this kind of the lady comes at the first and your mind already is set like this kind of the lady has a nyash, this kind of the lady can serve me meticulously, this kind of the lady, whenever you start talking, you start engaging and asking much of stupid questions. So you can ask, or you can just get to know, is this kind of the lady gonna be obsessed with this kind of the language you're gonna be using? If you find the lady is very happy with this kind of the language, and you can find this kind of the lady is mostly maybe married, or this kind of the lady is probably engage with another person, or this kind of the person, you understand really, but you can come out to start triggering. You understand the triggering of this kind of the men, how they start. Hey, beautiful lady, oh, you know, the way you see this kind of the house, I'm going to be using this kind of the room to make sure that I'm going to be sustaining myself with the different styles. You get the ready talking about which kind of the style do you like, Mapopo? I like this kind of the style. Oh, mama, I like this kind of the style, or BCD. So you'll come to understand whenever this kind of the things are going to be coming out, you have started already understanding this kind of the, and you can even trigger yourself, go forward and talk about, yeah, you understand, yeah, this, the style. Oh, that's the style you like. Oh, yeah, I like that one. Oh, let us not go there, Mapopo. You understand, I am engaged with the other person. Oh, whatever, I'm here for a shout out. You understand how it comes. But already you have already started this kind of the program. At the end of that kind of the video, maybe 2-3 people are there at that kind of the site. Now you have to hide a bit. In the evening session, you have now to meet, probably talking about, no one is denying Mapopo not to sleep out. Nobody. Because at this kind of the time right now, what is he doing? Already the woman is out. What is he doing? Much of the things you have to understand critically and observatively and understand how the program runs. So coming to this kind of the restatement of this kind of the ladies, and whenever now they're given much of the shout outs, they think about now that house is going to be, you understand, every kind of a woman understands that if this kind of the house could be mine, I could be doing this way, I could be doing this way. And also understand one program, when this kind of the gentlemen's like talk about I'm using Mapopo as an example because this kind of the video is his, and don't be so much flabbergastic talk about Gintu is attacking. No, Gintu is not attacking anybody. I'm giving Mapopo as an example because already the platform is already roaming. So what I'm going to be talking about is when this kind of the ladies are put in such kind of a condition, like you understand this kind of the woman, you have got this kind of the woman from this far point to this end point to the other statement point, and you find like this kind of the lady, whenever we are at the house, you find her what she is applying, what she is doing at this kind of the scripted manner, or what is she doing at this kind of the house, like mopping, like arrangement of the house, how she adjusts herself, how she deals with much of the duties, how she combines herself very characteristically very nice, how she exposes herself, how the etiquette is out. Then you go and find this kind of the girlfriend. You understand always we have the breeding wives and also have entertainment wives. Somebody in the tune? And to the real fact, you can understand this kind of the proverb that says, why is it differentiate between a zebra and a donkey? A zebra is very, very beautiful, but it's in the wild. But a donkey is very, very something else, but it's in the domesticated. Why? It's the same. So you can understand the proverb that I'm using here to come to the real conscience of understanding how men behave. That is the character of the men. Like this kind of the zebras, talk about this kind of the flirting ladies. They're outside there, they are so beautiful. You understand the colorful body. Talk about a very good good looking. And also they possess some of the nyashes outside there. They clad very well. And whenever they come to expose themselves, you talk about this is the material you're going to be using. You find like the one that is at the house is like a donkey. So you find yourself talking about this one should go for water. And you should go and talk about this like a transport. You understand, in the ancient time, this is the mode of transport in this kind of the home. So you understand this kind of the wife is made like a transport in the home. And the other lady is used, talk about the zebra, is used like people are coming to watch. And whenever you want to be talking about, yeah, come and see how my environment is, whenever a zebra is there, you feel very nice. You feel even picturizing. But can you picture a donkey? So coming to the inclusive manner of understanding what Neema she's coming out with, to understand like she has been beaten like a safari rally, she has been beaten like Cherokee drums. Understand the proverb of the same epitome of talking about the donkey. Look at how many donkeys are suffering, but how are they working in the domesticated manner? They are working like something else. They are working like machines, but at long last they are being hit like something else also. You understand, they have so many wounds everywhere. They are bulked with much of water. They are bulked with much of the charcoal, and they have to carry them to the point that is there. Even in Swahili we talk about punda choke lakini muzigo ifike. Talk about the donkey should be tired, but the luggage should reach to the spot. That's what the local people are talking about in this kind of an area. And talking about that kind of a way is to deliver the package is the most, and the package here, it's the children. So you have to understand how these kind of things are always coming out. So don't misquote us. And coming to the real conclusive manner is whereby this kind of the people start differentiating. You find a person has rented a house for this kind of the zebra and talk about, yeah, I want to see how the zebra acts. You understand how smooth it is and perfumated. You understand what happened to this kind of the boy who did the same, who was beating much of the ladies east, west, and south. And I filmed that kind of the video from the police station there. You understand how pretty she was, and you have to understand the donkey, where it is. And that is the real conservative of the matter. And coming to this kind of the conclusive, talking about when we picture this kind of the panel and come out very fantastic to understand the real statement of who is to blame and who is not to blame. This kind of the matter comes whereby both of the genders are onto the problem. Both of the genders. And I don't know why, and some of the people just comment and talk about why. This kind of the young ladies who want to venture into the YouTube, they act to divorce. Why? Have you ever come to realize why? They open YouTube channels, they act like they're gonna be divorcing the men. Or they divorce completely, they divorce. But at a specific moderate. Why? It's because this kind of the ladies, they never attach the husband or the boyfriend to talk about, I'm going to be having this kind of a YouTube channel to be rectified. I know more about it. And you, the other person from the other side, you know it even correctly. But this kind of the ladies, they don't want to understand this kind of the pinpointment because of what? They talk about, yeah, somebody else from somewhere has told me this way. Somebody from somewhere has told me this way, so let me go with this one. You understand, Gintu is lying, Gintu is doing whatever, Gintu is doing ABCD, so as he can just gain himself. Okay, you have divorced Gintu. You have said about, okay, Gintu is ABCD. You have divorced Mapopo. Okay, say it this way. You have divorced I don't know who. So you say about, oh, there are so many men outside here. Now go and look for that content. Like what Gintu is coming out with what Mapopo is coming out with. All you think about how Mapopo has been into the trial up to wherever he has reached. You think about is a joke, is stupid, he doesn't think. You understand we have a probability of understanding. And no day Mapopo will go down. And that is the fact. No day whoever has been attacked like, oh, this kind of the person is this way. Sometimes you have to understand. Don't ever cry because crocodile tears are coming from somewhere, or this kind of the things are coming from somewhere. Understand the probability. If you find your lady is dating a Madiba, right, this kind of the time as they talk about, and I'm not sure about it because already the statement is out, and we talk about, okay, in the quotation we talk about, okay, Madiba is dating this kind of the lady, and already you have said it that way, and what are you going to be causing outside there? And what did Mapopo do so that they can just get this kind of the lady out? You understand, sometimes we have arrogancy, we have impatient, we have unkindness of this kind of the women. And they are talking about, yeah, even somebody else can help me, it's not no longer you. And you find yourself talking about, okay, there's somebody who's going to be picking out this kind of the time. Or you might talk about, okay, is Mapopo not necessary? Where are the children coming from? Because when you talk about, oh, Mapopo is not working fantastic, okay, where are the children coming from? Does it mean, or when you can come now to conclusive, you'll come to understand, like, there's something you have to understand very critically. Like this kind of the lady, maybe she is into this kind of the position, even this kind of the children, they don't belong to me. We have to go to the DNA. And you find yourself now having so much suspense about this kind of the person. You have married yourself for 8, 3, 4, 5. You don't understand. Is this kind of the lady, this kind of the children mine? So you leave Mapopo in a suspense already. So how do you gonna be talking about this kind of the things? And also, this kind of the people, all of them, they have to sit down, relax, and do their own things probably. We cannot re-engage and talk about, yeah, you know, Neema, I want to support you. Go and buy a land here. Go buy whatever here. And you understand that is the most key value of this kind of the ladies. Because you understand, there are so many ladies who have done it. Like, oh, let me go out of this kind of the people. I ran to Gintu, I ran to I don't know who. I ran to I don't know who. They film me, and I seen with this kind of the people in the internet, and they will support me, buy me a land, and prepare myself with the children. That is the attitude that is flowing, and then there's no day this kind of the people will ever survive without this kind of the men. Trust me or not, they will never. Trust me or not. That is the real equivocum of the matter, because as you understand, this kind of the people have ever slept for they have this kind of the umbilical cords have met into the bed, and you don't know which kind of the styles this kind of the children were coming out with. Maybe it's scorpion kadunga, maybe it is a wheelbarrow, maybe it is alligator, maybe it is a tortoise, whatever kind of the practical it was there. And talk about the style of the practical you are ever doing this kind of the practices, and titillating at which kind of the module, in which angle are you titillating this kind of the reaction, at which rate were you rating this kind of the reaction. Talk about the surface area exposed to as it can just get its own dignity. That is what we ever have to talk about here. But much of the people don't understand what really gonna be coming out at this kind of the point. We have to mishandle ourselves, talk about, oh, into, you know, it has been this way, it has been that way. When we come to the conclusive matter of understanding the things, how they fall, let us not be challenged from the platform like, oh, you know, this kind of the Mapopo is bad, Neema is bad. Both of them, they have their own legacy to put together and solve their own matters correspondently. Because there's no one, right now, we might see like, oh, Gintu is engaging in this kind of the reaction. And whenever it comes to the real deal of tomorrow, you find that this kind of the people are together. So who is stupid at this kind of the reaction? Who is stupid? You'll come to understand like we are be-washing ourselves. We are brainwashing ourselves to this kind of the matters. So at that kind of an eclipse, we're going to be coming to the real conscience of understanding the matter of handling much of the matters. The YouTube platform is very nice. Very, very nice. But when it starts to mess you, it messes with you correctly and obsessively to the ground level. Like, there are people who trusted on Mapopo. There are people who trusted on Gintu. There are people who trusted on Madiba. What's the reaction between? What are you going to be talking about this kind of the people? There are people who had the brighter future with, talking about, oh, I want to be helping Gintu for the father. You find this kind of the other person has come out to talk about, oh, Gintu, I never knew that's how you are. And you find this kind of the things have been scripted, but you cannot understand because she's a woman, or you have maybe passed through such kind of a significant reaction as this kind of the lady she's complaining out. And you talk about, oh, Gintu is not to be trusted. Mapopo is not to be trusted. Madiba is not to be trusted. But at the end of the time, you'll come to mess yourself, thinking about you're going to be doing something else. This is Africa, my people. Let me tell you, this is Africa. And when you come to understand what is Africa meaning, it means like you will never go anywhere. This kind of the ladies, let them not cheat you. Like, oh, I will never go back. I will never do whatever. I never do whatever is necessary. My friend, we have a long way to go still. Because these third world countries are not like the first world countries. You know what a person in America is thinking? Already America was in Kenya, like in Kenya in 1963. When we were getting independence and knowing who we are, we don't have a road. We are having Maram roads, even not even talk about graded roads. We are talking about we only have a Trans-Saharan highway, which was even, it talk about it's in the map, not even multiplied or done anything, even a tributary of a road. We don't have. And that's the time Kenya now was gaining independence, and America already was second world class or the first world class since that kind of the time. Since America got its independence, 1776. So come to the conclusion of 1963 of Kenya getting independence. You can come to understand if this is how many years from that kind of time, 1963 to 2000, that is 30, that's around 37 years. And talk about to 2020, that's around 57, right now 2025, added there, like 62 years. And when you come to the real conclusive of the matter, 62 years of independence of Kenya, right? This is the condition we are. And talk about America, 1776 of its independence. 63 years after that one, which was 18 what? You can come to understand the real thing that we're talking about. Already, America was in 1880s or 18, like 63 minus the 24. It's going to be coming like 40s there. And that's the time. It's 1840s. It was already like Kenya, 1840s. And when you come to 2025, already how many years? It's a first world class. Kenya is still the third world. So you can come to understand whatever America is done, don't bring it to Kenya, because things gonna be changing. Things gonna be in a different module. Let us not frame ourselves like, oh, I wanna be framing myself because this is done in America, I want to do it in Kenya. We are forcing things that will never occupy. We are pumping brains which cannot be occupied in Kenya. Because you might have a brain that when you bring it to Kenya, still we have that kind of the stupid locality that is unto our minds, that's unto our brains, and there is nothing we can do to buffer this kind of the significant. That's what we have to understand and come out with the most attractive thing that you can have to handle. To the matter of understanding the probability of handling all the matters correctly from each and every kind of the hotspot. When you start talking about, oh, you can survive, there are so many people have survived, single mothers. You understand that is the thing that is forcing. Look at this kind of the Neema. She has 3 children, something like 3 children. And somebody's talking about Neema, you can make it without him. Who told you? And are you really sure about that? You might pump her with some of the illusions right now and some money. But she cannot survive with them the way you think about. This is not America, man. Even if it's in Kenya, but the husband is available. And sometimes we have to sit these kind of the people down, put them like something else and talk to them and tell them what is necessary. And each and every kind of the party will come to conclude like, I am wrong, I'm this, I'm that, I'm those ones. But we'll come to understand this kind of the probability, how it goes. Like everything has to be put in a conclusive and a very organized manner. Let us handle this kind of the matter this way. Yes, Mapopo did it wrong. Both of them did it wrong. Because this lady has not talked to Mapopo on what she should do and what she should be doing and be given the mandate, the alternative. You cannot talk about somebody doesn't bear with my own principles. I'm the one who married the person and talk about, oh, Gintu is very bad and you don't adhere to my principles. Whom do you want to adhere there with? Whom do you want to adhere with? And if you cannot adhere with my principles or you cannot adhere to this kind of Mapopo's principles and talk about, oh, this kind of the man now should go, this kind of the lady is going and leaving some of the children at home and talk about, I was in a shout out from Mapopo, I was in a shout out from Madiba, I was in a shout out from this kind of the lady, I was in a shout out from Briska. So do you come to the conclusion of understanding the real man, how he is? Yes, I'm there to hustle and bring much of the things. Even to the tradition, it was there. The men who are going and the ladies who are remaining at home and make sure that everything, let us not change the cultural and the norms. You understand also Mapopo where they are coming from. They're coming from one of the interior sides and making sure that they still portray that kind of the cultural and the norms of that kind of an area. And coming to the light right now, like, okay, the men can change. Talking about the money has come, yes, they can change a bit, but they cannot forget this kind of the women. But the women try to think about a man should come and talk about, yeah, I was here, I was doing this, I was doing. We are not in America, man. This is Africa, man. Don't exchange the African norms to be American norms because there's a supporter who is talking about, can you be this way? We are becoming stupid as an Africans. Like now we have to talk about there was a colonialism and now we have a neo-colonialism that is governing us. When are we going to be moving? We will be in a stupid struck position in a way that we'll just talk about, oh, my living God, I was told it this way. This kind of the people supporting us, yes, they are there to support us, give us much of the encouragement, support, funds, whatever, necessary capital, and even investments, yes, buying as much of the things, A, B, C, D, helping you to do this and then this, but they will not be there to the entire life. We have to study ourselves. We have to understand, like, tomorrow I will be there to handle my own self. What about tomorrow? This kind of the people will not be there to talk about, oh, Ginto, I want you to handle this kind of the life this way, or Mapopo, will you have to handle this kind. We have to open our minds as Africans and start developing our own stuffs and talk about, I can develop this, I can talk about this, I can manage this, but at the end of every time is, oh guys, I need a help. Oh, this is a lady coming with so many children, talk about, oh, you know, I am chased. Oh, I am divorced. Oh, I want help. Oh, you know, this person is bad. Oh, has been hit like Cherokee drum. Oh, I'm going to the police. Oh, I have an OB. Stupid allegations which doesn't have even kind of the matter. And you'll come to understand some of the things, we have to solve them as a man, as you are. But at the end of the matter, we are being portrayed like we are still in the colonialism, like we have to be talking about this kind of the Americans have to intervene so as our marriage will run. Stupid things. We are never and will never do such kind of the things, and will never progress with that one. And I say it as a fact because we don't trust our minds in Africa. We trust that somebody, whenever they arrive onto our minds, portray our minds and talk about this is what you should do. That's the time we talk about, yeah, now I'm becoming a man. You are even shaking your head like a cucumber, talking about, yeah, I'm now peeping. I am now finished. Let me have the final drops. We'll be in a stupid occasions. Keep it tuned. Back to you in a short while. Guys, when I cover this kind of the sport again, and I listen to how the story of this kind of the lady she's talking about, oh, Mapopo got a phone, and this kind of the phone was having some of the texts that were coming from Madiba. So I get it confused in a way that how can a man entrust like this kind of the phone is being dealt with this kind of the lady of the house, talk about the housemaid, and she was the one who was chatting. How did Chris Madiba come to understand this kind of the maid, or this is the maid doing this kind of Mapopo's home, or are they in a relationship? And how does it come? You understand, sometimes if we go direct to the point and understand to understand, like we're gonna be getting ourselves into this kind of the way of understanding the scripture of talking about maybe this kind of the part a woman will be wrong and this kind of the part a man will be right. We have to go direct to the spot and understand, is it real like this kind of the text were there? And how do you think about this kind of the other lady of the maid was using your phone? Is she an underage that she doesn't have? So it means like now you're going to be throwing Mapopo to another scenario of maybe he has employed a maid who is an underage, who is not allowed to use a phone, or is he a mandate like there's no maid who is allowed to use a phone in that kind of the house? How does a maid use your phone? How does it come to the conclusion? So when you come to understand this kind of the epitopes, like also understand this. Mapopo yes had a history of back talking about he gonna be dating the maids, yes and yes and yes, because the last one how it dealt with this kind of the family about it was about to break again. This is not the first time, this is not the second time, this is not the third time. This is the several times, decades of times we can talk about, and it's not the first time. It's only the first time like this kind of the lady, she has been exposed into the YouTube, so she has going to be coming out and talk about this how it's gonna be, and this is the YouTube streets are gonna be reporting up to, so you can just be like the police officers. So you can just arrest Mapopo and do whatever necessary for the YouTube. It doesn't do that. And we have to come to the conclusion of everything that happens. Like, why are this kind of the ladies always running? Talking about this kind of the person is bad, so they can just air out and talk about, yeah, disgrace much of the Mapopo. Why are we supportive to talk about that? In such kind of an inclusive, we have to rethink of what we're going to be estimated to be coming out, and the impact of coming out, in a way that if we go direct to the point, we will get that this kind of the lady is the one who is having the mistake. We'll come to understand it. But now she has aired the first this kind of the video. It means that this kind of the lady, she's willing to maybe stay, or she was willing to do this, but she cannot do this. And you understand this kind of the ladies also. Whenever you talk about, yeah, I'll just, I'll get you out, or I'll do whatever. Now, just take me out. I don't bother. I'll work on my own. And whenever now they're thrown out, they're talking about, oh, you know, sometimes they're not thrown out in bad intention. They're thrown out because of too much talking and too much rubbish talking. And from that kind of a statement, also whenever you can come to the conclusive of understanding why this kind of the people thrown out, they are ever talking about there are so many men outside here, I'll just get one, I'll grow my YouTube, I'll do whatever is necessary. And whenever they come outside here, they again talk about, oh, you know, I was doing this, I was thrown out, crying, crocodile eyes, tears. And that is the statement of now declining this kind of the man, and talk about now you're becoming a Judas Iscariot, and this kind of the if of sense of the matter. But how long are we going to be doing that? How long? And whoever we are reporting up to talk about this is Mapopo doing this is not this is not that. At how long are we going to be surviving in this kind of the street and talk about, yeah, this person is bad and this person is bad, and yet you understand you have even gave birth for 4, 3, 4, 2, 3, 1, pregnant, whatever is necessary, and you have come to this kind of the people. You understand? But at the end, you're being confused with 2, 3 titillated minds of outside here. Talk about, yeah, you just talk this way, talk that way. And you find to talk about, okay, there's so much of the shout-outs that you can talk about. Okay, we have shout-outs, we have whatever. You're talking about, oh, it's only one time we chatted with Madiba to ask for, asking for what? Asking for a shout-out or asking for a collabo. You're talking about a collabo, and you are chatting in the same house, chatting with this kind of the person, talking about, I know this kind of the ladies, I know. It's not the first time. Even the day this kind of the person got this kind of the text, it means that Mapopo was ever framing himself, talking about, I want to get this kind of the person. She is acting awkward. She's not even respectful in this kind of the matter. I have to look for an alternative to make it happen. That's the time now. When the 40 days of stealing are always approaching, you find that you don't have anything to do. You have to absolutely dealt with how it comes. That is now the impact of hiding, and doing whatever is necessary. But at the end of the moment, we have to create ourselves, understand ourselves, and also this kind of the lady, what I can just advise her is, stop the nonsense. Don't think about, because you have seen Priska, she is living on herself, she can do whatever is necessary, and whatever is necessary, you understand what she's capable of. And maybe the other person is capable of this, and she has gone and they are living. Who told you they are not having the husbands in their hand of the random sites? Do you think about that? Can those kind of the people tell you? So don't be lied outside here. You have seen somebody, oh, I've divorced Gintu, I've done whatever, and they have gone, they have got a sponsor, has built, has done whatever, bought a land, they are, oh, we are in the process of doing this. Can you come to your own senses? Yes, you might need that. Then what now? Mapopo will just go with that kind of the house. Where? Gintu has a G castle. Where? Don't be fool, don't be stupid, don't be thinking about the world is only the internet will help you. This kind of the people that are there to watch, give you some reason, 4 hours of the time, small synopsis, some encouragement, move on. That is only the thing. Because you know yourself, you understand yourselves, and you understand what you're going to be doing. So the only advice to this kind of the lady, stop the stupidity. Act responsibly like a woman. Don't think about, oh, this kind of the person has said this. You have to answer the way you want to answer. You talk about, oh, you know, so what? You understand how the ladies are always behaving. Whenever they know that they have a link somewhere, they understand like, oh, there's a person who has promised me 10,000 here. The person who has promised me ABCD. And you think about, oh, this kind of the person has acted this way, has acted this way. Understand this kind of thing on popping out at this kind of time. You have to understand what's always coming out. Stop the nonsense and go back to your own stupid or whatever things you think about. They are just stupid into your mind. Act responsibly like a woman and understand the probability of understanding each kind of the self-esteem. That's what I can just talk about this kind of the time. Because sometimes whenever we talk about, yeah, I'm very sorry, Neema, you understand it could be this way, it could be this way, nonsense. You will be just portraying a stupid and a metrical mind to this kind of the, titillating them with stupidity and even not giving them some of the things that are not necessary. Talking about, yeah, just go to the police station. Who told you it can be? Who told you it can be? Sometimes we have to understand how the things are coming out and how they should be uptaken as a family. And don't think about, oh, everything you have to come outside and tell us, oh, you understand, I've been thrown out with 3 children. So what now? 3 children. Go back to your home. Take care of your children there. If Mapopo has talked about, he has taken all the stuff, talk about he has kept you out this kind of thing with 3 children. Where were you when you were given the first child? the second child, the third child. Did you not think about Mapopo was acting that way? So when we come to the conclusion, sometimes we have to give this kind of our own ladies some lecture so I can understand. Because if we act like, oh, I will not tell her whatever is necessary, she will go outside there and put it to the internet because of ABCD. Berating and putting everything out, including every secret. Like, oh, this kind of the person is nowadays broke. This kind of the person is nowadays ABCD. So they will come out and talk nonsense. They will be used to talk nonsense. At the end, the people are using them. They are no longer available whenever she's going to be going back. You now even talk about, oh, I talked very bad about this kind of stuff. You go like you are now fearing. What are you going to be even exposing yourself into? So let us not inject this kind of the people with the stupid minds. Let's inject them with the necessary injection. Talk about this is the injection to talk about to inject you. This is the corona. Let it be corona. Let it be Pfizer. It is a Pfizer. Use it as first coat and second dose. First dose, second dose. Yeah. Let us not talk about, oh, this is how it's going to be. Let us use the other one. No. We'll be challenging much of the matters here. And that is the only act of understanding, the act way of going forward with your own family. Don't ever come outside to tell us, oh, this is how it is. When this kind of the things are happening, you are there talking about it. It will change. It will change. It will change. And also to Mapopo also. Connect your home, man. Bring it back home. Put the movement to go forward. Go and get some 2 kgs of meat, put onto the grill, ask again to come and roast. Continue their life of talking about ABCD. Continue the life of your wife, my friend. Continue with that because the children are there. So act responsible, man. Sometimes you have to come and talk about, you have to urge yourself what is necessary. Yeah? And that is the only Gintu's kicker of the day. As it's going to be raining here, and it's going to be so fantastic, as it's going to be coming out with this kind of the reservoirs of the time. So the best way for us to act is to act responsibly. We shall not be running from this kind of the issues and just fix them and make it happen. Eh? But we have much of that's what we call about the river meanders. Like, oh, it might be meandering to this kind of the section, it might go to the other section, but at the end of the time, we have much of the things to handle, much of the matters to put in the same position and understand what has to pop out with an immediate effect. So back to the G Castle here. It's going to be ending this kind of the video from here, and we understand where we have reached, because much of the people are going to be talking, okay, into where have we reached in the terms of this kind of the section here. So the G Castle, this kind of the borders here would get much of the wetness because it's going to be raining here. So, wow. So already, this is the court 2. Already we are finishing from the front here. And I think this is the final court. And we're going to be coming back to this kind of the point here, talk about the tiles. And I think this is going to be schemed or going to be tiled. I don't know. And maybe we're going to be coming to that kind of the conclusion. Oh, the pillars also, they're getting the best way to make sure this is the second court. Very fine now. And they're going to be using the sandpaper to get them now so smooth whenever we're going to be applying much over the painting as much more. So that will be the most effective way to handle. How are you, man? Everything good? Yeah. I see. Gentlemen. Yes. What's up, man? Everything good. Everything is nice? Fantastic. Welcome back, man, to the channel. Yes. Introduce yourself, man. Thank you so much, Gintu, for hosting me in your YouTube channel. Exactly. Once more again. Thank you very much. I go by the name Lucas the Traveler. Lucas the Traveler. Yes, that's exactly my YouTube channel name. We are just here to make sure that everything is just moving. Eh? Straightforward. Straightforward. Exactly. That's our main aim. Eh? Exactly. Despite what time comes, but everything has to go. Everything has to go on. Yes. Effectively. So go subscribe, like, share, comment with Lucas the Traveler, and is here always, and is today helping much of the gentlemen here to apply this kind of the skim coat. This is the second skimming coat that is just applying here to make sure the G Castle going to be shining. Already with the outside here, I think some of the parts outside there we are now done. I think from this kind of the point, are we done with the some section? Yeah, some section from, as you can see from the door. From the door to this kind of the window. Or to this kind of the window. Yeah, it's done with the second coat. So that's the final. That's the final coat. So it will only be... We wait for sandpaper. Sandpaper? Yeah, you can find scraping. Yeah, you can scrap. Okay. The wall to be smooth and to be smooth. Very efficient. Exactly. So on today, how many? Today I got 2 skimming powders.
Yes.
I think we are remaining with one.
One only bag.
Only one.
Yeah.
So it means that, hey, my living God, these things will ever kill me one day. They are so expensive to buy, and also getting them to this kind of the spot here, a bit expensive. But we are trying our best, and whenever we see something moving, we have to move with it. Yeah. How do you see, man, the work now? Is it perpendicular? Already people have already
started that fine.
it's already dirty, and I don't know.
Like this.
Touching, eh?
Yeah,
touching is the most thing that brings much, or he is the one.
No, that one has white, so immediately it touches.
It will be white.
Some guys.
Okay. Yeah. So I think whenever this route here, maybe that's. But the good thing is that it will be scrubbed.
Our main aim is to make the wall smooth.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Oh, that's the main.
That's the main aim of
it. To make it smooth.
Yeah.
So the other dirty, they don't have any kind.
When it's become in painting, it will be smooth.
It will be smooth. Yeah. So it will be scrubbed.
Yeah.
Then everything will be good. Fantastic. So I see even the dogs here are coming for a little bit of getting some shelter because the rain were coming, were cats, were dogs here, and we have to understand how the things are coming. So back to you, and how is the Jiggers family, man? You understand? I've been already. I can show you. I have this kind of you can see, guys. I have this kind of the stuffs here. This one here. You can see my leg is black. Don't ask why. I've applied so many chemicals to make sure that they're gonna be suffocating those kind of the jiggers inside. Sure. Because I'm attacked with jiggers, and I can show you at the right. Because I've not even gone there to the hospital to evacuate them from the hospital. Yes. Because I'm getting myself to proper treatment first. Then I cater for other people also. Because my life is better than them also.
Because you are there to support them. If you are sick,
also they have to understand how the program comes.
Yeah,
did they attack you?
Yeah. First, starting with here, I removed these things from here.
Okay. From the fingertips.
From the fingertips here. But mostly that this one affected me here is the one that now came to my leg. When removing, I failed to
press.
Yeah. So it remains here and stick here. Hey, that's why they came to my hand.
So already you are attacked.
I'm attacked, but
meticulous. So already Gintu now gonna be coming next. Next chapter is mine, but I'm gonna be handling it more properly. And understand it's because of also the condition that I'm subjecting myself. It's not relevant for their survival. So you have to understand that kind of the epilogic manner of coming to this kind of the conscience. So also thank you very much for your time also you took, because we removed ourselves to make that we have to be voluntary and help this kind of the people so that they can just come out with this kind of the jiggers and help them more fantastic to come out from this kind of the course of the jiggers. And already we are now the people who are just attacked. So you have to come to understand we were ever doing it for them to be helped. They can come out more effective. Not like, I cannot go there, I have to send much of the people. Even Gintu is subjected himself. So you can understand like Gintu is part of the program to help them. I was in that kind of the front page to help this kind of the people so they can just heal. And it was my best pleasure to see them healing up to this kind of the point. And we'll deal with it perpendicularly per unit time. It's only roofing that will be done there.
But
even if it's going to be the old iron sheets.
But it's okay. But the good thing is that the first group that you entered, you were me and you.
Exactly.
So if it is all about being attacked,
it was me.
Yes.
The first day we went to spray the chemical.
Yeah. So the second group, they came when the environment was good.
Was good, exactly. A little bit good.
Yeah, a little bit good.
Yeah.
Now at least, right now the house looks very okay.
Yeah.
Only the roofing.
The roofing only. Then we're gonna be raining. Like today, it's about raining here, as you can now see from this kind of an estimate. But I don't know if my camera is gonna be viewing this kind of the raindrops here. But it's raining, and it's a bit like it's gonna be raining. We will see from tomorrow. I don't want to get them there even it has not rained, so they can just estimate to understand if it's gonna be raining inside or not. Exactly. So thank you very much, bro, for your time and also supporting. Guys, support. Talk about is called himself Lucas the Traveler. Subscribe, like, share, comment, as you're gonna be getting forward with the more and more success to come, and we will appreciate and say that kudos and respect to each and every kind of the person subjecting themselves onto that.
Yeah, thank you so much.
Thank you very much, bro.
I really
make it happen, eh?
Yeah,
exactly. So this is the work how it's done here, and the gentleman here. It's raining still, and Ona. Kuna ile mifuko iko huko, tunitori ile mifuko manze. Yeah, kuna ile mifuko isijinyeshewe. Have Alego. How are you, man?
I'm fine.
Everything is nice?
Yes.
I see you, man.
Thank you.
Exactly. So guys, Alego was dealing with, I'm gonna be rained. There's no problem of being rained. There's no problem to me. And it was dealing with this kind of the stairs, and it was making sure that everything is so fantastic, as you can see from there. And everything is more possible to talk about handling much of the matters more correctively and more good, so they can just have a good environment. And it's only tiling. I'm remaining with only tiling, guys. That's the only thing that I'm remaining with. And I'll just be sorting out much of the windows whenever it comes to that kind of the time, and also fixing much of the lightings here. And the G Castle will be ready to go. And much of the people talk about, oh, Gentle, you are able to be that one. Much of the money that have been subjected here. Thank you very much. People supporting Gintu. Don't feel like, oh, it's gonna be this way. I've subjected myself into this. The more helping you do, you are helping much of the other things. Also, I'm helping other people to make it happen, and also constructing much of the houses. And that is the way you talk about even me, support Gintu to make it happen also. And tomorrow I continue with much of the work. Even if you're gonna be touched, thank you very much for that kind of the module, and be touched with that kind of the way, so as you can just get forward more fantastic here. So inside here, there's no material remaining like yesterday. It's only this kind of the scheme. They're called a G-Proc. For the upper section, we'll talk about the upper section is only first coat, and we're going to be getting to the second coat also, so we can just make sure that the ceiling board is sealing outside there. And I will just appreciate much of the people and say that kudos to that kind of the moment. And I say respect always. Respect.
Yes, mister.
The pillars are pillaring.
Is that good English?
Yeah, that's the best English.
Okay.
The pillars are...
Pillaring.
Yeah, the pillars are pillaring. Very meticulous. Guys, but it's a very hard work.
Yeah.
You have to remove yourself. You have to segment yourself. So as you can just make it up. So guys, respect and kudos, and keep it tuned. Keep it locked. Subscribe, like, share, comment. And also, let's make it happen. Hello, internet. Wherever you're coming from, I appreciate the moment. And I say kudos. As we're going to be reflecting much of the things, how they come, and how we have to frame them, as we're going to be making it happen. Already water is coming outside like Safari Rally. You can now see this kind of a hole here is collecting much of the water like something else. And that's the best way for us to go. But what I always talk about, whenever it rains, I have so big shambas right now. Talk about big farms that I've already cultivated, and I'm growing much of the maize. And whenever it rains like that, I always talk about thank you very much, the living God, for giving us this kind of another chance or another time to make it happen, because we have to shine today, tomorrow, and tomorrow the way it comes. And already the bricks, they're here, and we have done what is necessary to enclose them, so you cannot have much of the raining dropping on them, because already they're going to be drying up. Already have some of the grass there, which is a napier grass. I've made myself, I've adjusted myself into also agriculture, which is taking care of the grass here, so you can just grow it for the animals. And we have to make sure that animals also are part of the ecosystem, because I do something called mixed farming, and whatever one fails, another one applies with an immediate effect. This is my farm. This is just the small farm that I have outside here, but I have so many farms outside here arbitrarily. And this is a maize plantation here, and you can now see they have like 1 month, but they are so big. This area is highly fertilized. And there's a time I told Mayani, do you know what? Whatever, even if you plant it before me, I'll harvest before you. And Mayani was talking about, oh, Ginto, I know your land is so fertile. That's how we're going to be talking about. So the maize are so fantastic here, as you can see them here. So the bricks here, they cannot get destroyed. Much of the people are going to be asking about, oh, Ginto, do you think about this kind of the bricks going to get destroyed because it's raining? No, they cannot get destroyed. The way you can now see them there, they cannot get destroyed, because already they got burnt. If they got burnt, that's the best way for us to go and also make it happen, because if they could be talk about they could be not burnt, that's the position now. They could just be in a bad situation, and we have to do with something else there. And that is the way we ever conduct ourselves and get forward. Today I only had the one mason who was dealing with the stairs, which is the screeding of the stairs, and also I had the skimmer who is skimming there to make sure that the G castle is always white the way it is from here. And the next work also is to make sure that the tiling gonna be coming in, which is the better option for us to go and make it happen from each and every kind of the time. So keep it tuned, keep it locked. I'm coming to you in a short while. And the next thing also will be this kind of the hole to be the underground water tank. It will be coming out with an immediate effect. And this is the end.